Okay, so the question really well, who is God? And I guess this is a very, very important topic that people kind of underestimate. And as you can see today, in this modern age, you have people, obviously dissociating from God. People are believing whatever they want. They think that there's nothing out there. People are moving into these agnostic traditions or whatever they feel like. I mean, but I guess it's kind of understandable from if they look into from a scientific perspective. You would probably not. You probably say that, yeah, okay, there is no such thing as God, as some superpower out there that's controlling, I guess, everything, omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. If there was, then obviously the scientists, I guess, would have found that out over by now and explained everything. And since they haven't, so they say, oh, no, no, it can't be there. Well, my proposal to you is, in order to actually find something like God, you need to look not outside, but within. So what it means is that, because from my own experience and from how I've found God myself, you actually need to dwell within. And one of the teachings of Christ is the kingdom of God is within you and all around you, not in mansions of wood and stone. But I mean, keeping all these teachings aside, you have various different understanding and interpretations of God. But the most important thing really is about connection. And how would you connect? And if you think of it in that perspective, you will know that feelings is actually one of the most important thing, and about purity and truth. So if you really were seeking to find who God is and who he really is, for instance, no matter what your background is, I don't care really, then you would really need to sincerely try to pray. But not, what I mean is, your sincerity matters. You can't be just an individual who goes to a church, who goes to whatever mosque or etc., and try to pray, and just assuming you go to this holy place, you're going to receive some sort of a signal, oh, aha, like that. No, that doesn't work like that, because if you read the text of Sanatana Dharma, you will understand what the true meaning of God, which is through Brahman, which means all pervasive. And so basically, the way to actually connect to God, which I've found one of the most effective myself, is to generally detach for yourself. You can give this a try. If you want to receive real signals from God, you have to detach yourself from the people around, because everything you deal with is a turmoil, whatever you have, your relationships, etc. And because of that, your mind is always constantly engaged in all these things. So if you're engaged in these worldly matters, how are you going to connect? And in order to do that, you need to be generally alone, but you need to be sincere in your prayers. So if you sincerely start to pray for whatever reason it is, and if you have strength in your prayer, you will start to see signs, and I can guarantee you that. But you need to be consistent and need to keep doing it, and not being told by your mother or your whoever it is, your guardian, or whoever it is, your family members, etc., or your priest, or I don't know, whatever it is. If you yourself need to be sincere to actually connect, and then you will actually might see some signals. And one of the best means to connect with God, is people don't know, is through meditation, or through going inwards, as I was saying, through inwards, not outwards. Don't find it outside, because you can't generally find God generally outside, because that's a very difficult thing to do, but you need to find it within. And then you will know that there is a consciousness that exists that is always right and always true, and his teachings are the Dharma. That is his real teachings. I mean, the Dharma has been spread in the West and here and there, but it's been sort of over time changed, I guess, slightly. But I guess the Ten Commandments is also generally, coming from the Dharma itself. The Dharma is called the eternal natural way, and it's all aligned for the person to develop his consciousness over time and elevate himself so that he himself can be, just like similar to this powerful almighty God. But then you might say, if he's all that powerful, if he just prays for me, like if I pray, then why don't I receive the divine blessings? Well, the goal is not for you to just pray, but you to practice. And the highest knowledge, remember, all the time, the highest knowledge is not through just reading some text, okay? It is about experience. The highest knowledge is not just going to university and getting an A+ mark or grade, but the highest knowledge is known as the experiential knowledge, where you gain experience, practical experience. And in this case, in the spiritual context, the practical experience is through connection, through experience of the divine. That is what the goal is. You start experiencing, then you get what is known as these called spiritual experiences. And I will put some links in the bottom of this video for you to sincerely go through. There is a great organization actually today known as Spiritual Science Research Foundation, or known as SSRF. And what it does is actually looks at God and the concept of all these spiritual things in a very, very practical manner for anybody, like any common individual, whatever his background is. It doesn't matter. You can still be a Christian, you can still be a Jew, you can still be a Muslim, you can still be a Buddhist, you can still be a Hindu. There are no differences in that. I mean, it's not about so you are better, this is better. It's about helping you in your path to find the true understanding of the reality and what God is, and how one can actually elevate his consciousness and to be where he's supposed to be. Basically, it's helping you with your own religion and finding the truth within each one of you. And to find the love within each one of you. This is not that different. God and love is very, very similar, but in order to find and experience love, that's a completely different thing, and not many people know that. To experience something is completely different, and there's known as spiritual experiences, which I'll also put some links in this below this video, which will actually tell you what they mean. Okay, and basically everybody, regardless of whatever we follow, whatever we believe, our goal is still the same. And you might, in this earthly world, it might be this and that and this and that, but that's just the differences amongst people, and I guess belief systems and culture. But ultimately, if you really are sincerely, and if you want to understand this properly, you need to know that, and it's not that difficult to understand that if we all are humans, so everything, there's only one path generally. It's not that I'm preaching anybody, but if you can believe whatever you want to believe, but I would like you to, if you're really sincere, if you want to find and have experience of what the Almighty Divine is, you need to start to actually pray very sincerely. That's the first point. It's known as Ishwari Paridhana, or surrender to God in Christianity, or in Muslim societies, in Islam, or any Judaism, etc. But if you sincerely pray, you will see signals. Now, what you do with it is a different thing. In the beginning, you might receive, but what are these signals? You might think, and it could not be just something esoteric out there, but something to do with feelings. You see, like, I stress about feelings, and this is very important. Now, think about it this way. You might never have noticed this, but God generally responds to feelings. You see, like, think about it this way again. say you're doing, your intellect, your mind is, you know that you're doing something wrong, like really wrong. Say you're looking at that object, you say you shouldn't be going to that, wrong place, wrong vendor, it's a bad place, but you're tempted, you want to go there. Just like an individual, or he's filled with temptations, he wants to go to this pornographic place or whatever it is. These temptations are driving you because it's all about lust. But the thing is, there's one person, if you will seek within, if you truly try to look within yourself, you will see that there's some consciousness out there that actually is telling you that that's wrong. And it's that thing is generally speaking through, I guess, your heart. Because what happens is that if someone is doing something wrong, the first reaction is your heart starts to beat in an abnormal fashion. Then that's an indication to you that no, we shouldn't be doing such things. And God is actually responding to you, but you do not see that, you don't understand it, and you think that God is not there watching at you. But God is always there for everything, not only actually human beings, but if you read the Sanatana Dharma text, you'll know that God is present on every single living being, because every single being is part of the soul, the grand soul. The soul is the driving force that keeps us alive, and each one of us has our own individual mind, body, that makes us our individual and makes us different from God. So but God is also out there, separate as well. He's also within and outside, everywhere. And there are times if he says in the text that yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyathanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamiham. What it means is at times of unrighteousness he will descend on this planet. That's the concept of the avatar. And if you read the text, you will understand more. But these are based on the eternal natural way. So when one does not follow the path of nature, the path of non-violence, the path of purity, and when people are coming towards destruction, he comes and descends in some form and teaches humanity how to again strive for the better. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for listening. I hope to see you all succeed in your spiritual progress. Please read the video links. I love you all. Thank you.